Armstrong? What's the matter?
Mrs. Rogers is dead.
No, how?
Died in her sleep. Rogers thought she was still under the influence of the sleeping draught I gave her and came down without disturbing her. He lit the kitchen fire and did this room. Then, as she had it lit, he went up, was alarmed by the look of her, and went hunting for me. She's been dead about 5 hours, I should say.
What was it, Hot?
Impossible to say. It may have been.
After all, she did have a pretty bad shock last night.
Yes.
She could have been poisoned, I suppose, Doctor.
It is perfectly possible.
With the same stuff as young Marston.
No, not cyanide. It would have had to have been some narcotic, or hypnotic, one of the habituals, or chloro, something like that.
You gave her some sleeping powders last night, didn't you?
Yes, I gave her a mild dose of luminol.
Didn't give her too much, did you?
Certainly not. What do you mean?
All right, no offense. I just thought that perhaps if she'd had a week
The amount I gave her couldn't have hurt anyone.
And what exactly did happen?
Impossible to say without an autopsy.
If, for instance, this death had occurred in one of your private cases, what would have been your procedure?
Without any previous knowledge of the woman's state of health, I could certainly not give a certificate.
She was a fragile-looking creature. She had a bad fright last night. Perhaps it was heart failure.
Her heart certainly failed to beat. But what caused it to fail? Conscience. What exactly do you mean by that, Miss Brent?
You all heard. She was accused, together with her husband, of having deliberately murdered her former employer, an old lady.
Yes. Do you believe that's true, Miss Brent?
Certainly. You all saw her last night. She broke down completely and fainted. The shock of having her wickedness brought home to her was too much for her. She literally died of fear.
It is a possible theory. One cannot adapt it without more exact knowledge of the woman's state of health. If there was a latent cardiac
Call it, if you prefer, an act of God.
No, Miss Brent.
You regard it as impossible that a sinner should be struck down by the wrath of God. I do not.
My dear lady, in my experience of ill-doing, Providence leaves the work of conviction and chastisement to us mortals, and the path is often fraught with difficulties. There are no shortcuts.
Let's be practical. What did the woman have to eat and drink last night after she went to bed?
nothing.
Nothing at all? Not a cup of tea or a glass of water? I bet you she had a cup of tea, that's what it always does.
Rogers assured me she had nothing whatsoever.
He might say so.
So that's your idea?
Well, why not? You all heard the accusations last night. What if it's true? Miss Brent thinks it is for one. Rogers and his missus did do their oblivion. Feeling quite safe and happy about it. Happy? Well, they know there's no immediate danger to them. Then last night, some lunatic goes and spills the beans. What happens? The woman cracks, goes to pieces. Did you see him hanging round her when she was coming to? Not all husbandly solicitude. Not at all sweet life. He was like a cat in hot bricks. And that's the position. They've done a murder and got away with it. But if it's all going to be raked up again now, it's a woman within the show. She hasn't got the nerve to brazen it out. She's a living danger to her husband. That's what she is. And him, he's all right. He'll go on lying till the cows come home. But he can't be sure of her. So what does he do? He drops a nice little dollop of something into a nice cup of tea. And when she's had it, he washes out the cup and saucer and tells the doctor she ain't had nothing. Oh no, that's impossible. A man won't do that. Not to his own wife. You'd be surprised when Claythorne what some husbands would do.
Excuse me, I'm going on with breakfast. I'm not much of a hand as a cook, I'm afraid. It's lunch that's worrying me. There's some tin tongue, cold gelatin, that'd be satisfactory. And I could manage some cheese, ginger fruit, biscuits.
That's fine, Rogers. Lunch? Lunch, we shan't be here for lunch. And when the hell's that boat coming?
Miss Bloor!
What?
The boat won't be coming, miss.
What?
Granny Narrowpot's always here by 8 o'clock. Is there anything else you require?
No, thank you, Rogers. And it isn't Rogers. His wife lying dead upstairs, and as he's cooking breakfast and calmly talking about lunch, now he says the boat won't be coming. What the hell does he know?
Miss Bloor!
What? And don't you see? He's dazed. He's just carrying on automatically as if it's different bullets. Pulling a fast one, if you ask me.
The really significant thing is the failure of the boat to arrive. It means we have been deliberately cut off from help.
That's very little time.
What's that?
Very little time.
What? What's that, General?
Very little time. We mustn't waste it talking about things that don't matter.
Why do you think Narracop hasn't turned up?
I think the ubiquitous Mr. Owen has given orders.
You mean tell her it's a practical joke or something of that kind?
She'd never fall for that, would she?
Why not? Soldier Allen's got a reputation for people having crazy parties. This is just one more crazy idea, that's all.
Could we light a fire on top of the island so that someone would see it?
That's probably been provided against. All signals are to be ignored.
But can't we do something?
Oh, yes, we can do something. We can find the funny gentleman who staged this little joke, Mr. Unknown Owen. I bet you anything he's somewhere on this island, and in my opinion, he's mad as a hatter and dangerous as a rattlesnake.
Hardly a very good simile, Captain Lamont. The rattlesnake at least gives warning of its approach.
Warning! My God, yes, that's a warning! 10 little soldier boys going out to... There were 10 of us after Narracop left, weren't there? 10 little soldier boys going out to dine. One choked himself. Marston choked himself, didn't he? And then 9 little soldier boys sat up very late. One overslept himself. That last part fits Mrs. Rogers rather well, doesn't it?
You don't mean that he wants to kill us all?
Yes, I think he does.
And each one fits in with the rhyme.
No. It's impossible. It's coincidence. It must be coincidence.
Only 8 little soldier boys there. I suppose that's coincidence too. What do you think, Flo?
I don't like it.
But there's nobody on the island.
I'm not so sure of that.
This is terrible.
None of us will ever leave this island.
Can somebody shut up, Grandpa?
Don't you agree with me, Sir Lawrence?
Up to a point. Yes.
And the sooner we get to work, the better. Come on, Armstrong. Come on, Blow. Make short work of it.
I'm ready. Nobody's got a revolver by any chance.
I've got one.
Oh, to carry that about with you.
Usually. I've been in some tight places, you know.
Well, I suppose you've never been in a tighter place than you are today. There's a homicidal maniac hiding on this island. He'll probably have a little arsenal on him, and they'll use it.
You may be wrong there, bro. Many homicidal maniacs are very quiet, unassuming people.
Delightful fellows.
We never guessed there was anything wrong with them.
Well, if Mr. Owen turns out to be one of that kind, we'll leave him with you, Doctor. Now then, let's make a start. I suggest that you search the house while we do the island.
Right. Household will be easy. No sliding panels or secret doors.
Mind he doesn't get you before you get him.
Don't worry. But you two better stick together. Remember, one got left behind.
Come on.